And second, as we've mentioned, 200 days Arsenal have been top. They're not tonight. It is Manchester City, but it could not be closer. 70 points each, goal difference the same, 21 wins each as well from 33 games. The only difference is goals scored. 3 ahead for Manchester City. That's why they...
About how many goals you could possibly score here at Turf Moor tonight, but was that an example of how hard, as you know, a title challenge can be?
For the way we played or for the goals that we didn't score?
The goals.
Yeah, but the chances were there. We create a lot, make a fantastic game. Yeah, we did everything after the demanding game 3 days ago. So it's, yeah, it was demanding. It's always not easy, but we play a really good game where we miss, some goals.
I can see you looking at some of the replays that are going on in the television screen in here. We could see your frustration, though, in the second half, early in the second half. Maybe, was there a dip in performance from the levels? You talked about the demanding performance against Arsenal on Sunday, did you feel?
No, it's no frustration. How should be frustration? We won 3 points. We are right now top of the league. Frustration exists. So of course we can do better and score goals. But the guys did absolutely everything. We were playing in many things. We just don't score. So everything is difficult. Nothing is for granted. And we were there and we did it really well.
Was there a change though? Was it so demanding, the performance against Arsenal, that perhaps the levels weren't as strong as they were on Sunday, even though you got those 3 points?
I'm completely disagree.
Why do you disagree?
Because we make a better performance in terms of chances than last Sunday. Of course, the opponent from Arsenal is extraordinary, we know that. But the performance itself was really, really good.
And the mood, we can hear the music coming out of the away dressing room. You're top of the Premier League. How does that feeling now, going into the rest of the season? Is it still going to be as tight as it looks at the top of that table?
5 games, it's a Premier League for 5 games. So this is the reality. 5 games, and now we have a semi-final, really tough on Saturday. And now you have time and time to prepare the next games.
And that's just it, isn't it? It could be such a strong finish to this month for you, going into this final month of the Premier League season, and with an FA Cup final you could possibly be in as well.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity to play, I think, 4 finals in a row, and we're going to play. We'll see how tired. Maybe you have to make some changes, because otherwise have been, a lot of minutes for players. At the end was a little bit tired, but yeah, we are ready.
I saw you celebrating in front of the supporters. I mean, they sang through every Manchester City song tonight out of the songbook, didn't they? They were incredible.
Yeah, it's 1 hour away from I would say from Manchester, so it's not. Thank you for the fans. Always, our away fans always have been extraordinary. So no doubts about that. So the game was really well played, really well played in many things. Of course, we could have scored more, but we take it. So. We take it.
Just one last one on Rodri. I saw he was here, in and amongst the team as well, as you probably would expect him to be. What is the situation with him? How long are you expecting him to be out for?
I don't know yet. So we'll see. Day by day, we'll see.
Probably his easiest save of the night.
They're the remaining fixtures, which we are going over ad nauseum at the moment. But let me, and as we leave that there, let me put this point to you. Somebody made this comparison to me with Rory McIlroy at the Masters a year ago, right? When he blew a lead, ended up in a playoff, and his caddy said to him as they went down the fairway to the tee to start the playoff, if you'd been offered this at the start of the week, you'd have taken it. If you'd said to Arsenal fans, with 5 games to go, you'd be level on points with Manchester City, level on goal difference with Manchester City, it's only on goals scored, would they have taken it?
100%.
Exactly.
And
so that's the mindset.
And in a Champions League semi-final.
Yeah.
It's absolutely you would, but I think that again we come back to the hype and the situation, the expectation, but the reality of where Arsenal are at right now is outstanding.
So what it actually then boils down to is can everybody connected reset their mindset to go, we'd have taken this?
I think everybody's taken a push of the reset button after these 2 sides went head to head on Sunday, because the emotion and the intensity building up to that game, for the outcome to have happened 2-1 Manchester City, I feel like now we're going into almost a mini season where these 2 sides with these sets of fixtures, they're gonna be waiting for each other to slip up.
And people say Everton away and Bournemouth away could be City's two most difficult fixtures left. Before they go to Everton away, Arsenal have 2 Premier League games. They have Newcastle at home this weekend when City are in FA Cup action, and then Fulham at home before City play Everton. They could be 6 points clear again before City next play.
Yeah, and that could give them a boost. But if you look at the Champions League semi-final, you would expect Arsenal, with the form they showed this season, to beat Newcastle and to beat Fulham. It's what the Atletico Madrid game takes out of them, because I believe they can beat them. Have they got enough grit and determination to win all of those games? They've got the quality. And I feel as though when we talk about Arsenal, it's, they've bottled it. All this, again, social media, they've not bottled it. It's just they open the door for Man City. It's still in their hands. They can do it. It's just what those games in the Champions League take out of them, because against Atletico Madrid and Simeone, they're going to grind them down.
Yeah, they are. And it's funny because we speak about the game tonight, Manchester City, they didn't put in the performance, but they got the result.
Correct.
Arsenal at the weekend put in a performance, but didn't get the result.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by the twist of it. But if you're Arsenal, off the back of that City game, as soon as you get over the result and you put it to bed, and the fact that the way that they played, they've teed themselves up to finish the season strongly. I thought they were outstanding in terms of the performance. They hit the post twice. Yes, Manchester City hit the post as well, but they created chances against one of Europe's top sides, and I think that they can take great confidence from that. But obviously the headlines will be that, you know, Arsenal are slipping up. Well, they're not. They're still right in it, and the league table tells you that.
So, would you expect them? I don't like asking you questions. I don't like asking you questions that could then be replayed over and over, making you look daft.
But you're still going to ask it.
Yes, I am, Iceland.
Of course you are.
Would you expect, even though what you said about the Champions League and everything, would you expect Arsenal to be 6 clear by the time City next play?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, you would.
I would. I would. Yeah, I would, because they've got... They lost in the League Cup final. Obviously, that was a blow. And the reason why I say that, because... And we was having a debate at the weekend with Roy, and he was saying, well, they lost. They put in a good performance, but they lost. But you can take something from a performance. They've been very good in a low block, and there was better pressing. Havertz is back. Gyökeres is back. They need to get Saka back. As soon as Moreno's a big miss for them. Timber's a big miss for them. But if you look at the game on the whole, Man City were wobbling for a little bit.
Weekend in the FA Cup, because in minutes, it really does matter. So when you're playing these massive games with so much on, the fans, the expectations at the busiest end of the season, I think Arsenal and those 2 Champions League games could cost them in the run-up to the title.
And a few people have said to me, and again, maybe they're clutching, for City fans, clutching at straws here, the fact it's in Spain and in Madrid, it's one that, you know, Arteta would be determined to get through, rather than, I don't know, a German team or a French team.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge tie, isn't it? Home and away. It's a fantastic tie to be involved in. Of course, semi-finals don't come around that often for any club, you know. So, again, it's a huge car for these Arsenal players and for the manager to get to a final, of course. So, but again, you know, you mentioned there before as well, Steve, they've got 2 games now, Arsenal. And again, it's an opportunity to go 6 points clear at the top of the league before Man City play another game. So, again, going back about the psychological side of things, and of course grab some goals in both them games to get the goal difference maybe closer as well and goals scored. So Arteta will be saying that. I think he'll be at home watching this game tonight relatively pleased it was only 1-0, because that keeps that gap really tight when it comes to goal difference. And looking the way these 2 teams are going, it could come down to that last game of the season. Newcastle can't just keep losing and losing. Yeah, they're having a tough time. Newcastle. I don't know, it's sort of scratching your head time a wee bit with Newcastle. I mean, it's a tough game. Obviously, the weekend they've got to go to Arsenal as well. Maybe that's not a bad thing, because the natives at St James's Park are a bit restless at the minute, you know. So maybe away from home might help Newcastle a bit again. But it's a game Arsenal will look to obviously win, of course.
Obviously, Bournemouth at home was as well, and it got edgy and it got nervous, and they couldn't get the results.
Yeah, I mean, like, all the teams are like needing results, for whether it's to appease the fans, whether it's to get their confidence back, get momentum back, whether something's riding on it. Everyone's playing for something. And, I think it will be a difficult game for Arsenal.
Interesting. OK. When we come back, we will look at the other side of the story, because Burnley have been...
I think is obviously we want more from him in the interview, and Julian Ferrington there was asking him really how we saw the game, his reaction. We saw his reaction there, but he didn't give you nothing. He said we played well. We all know by his standards he wanted 4, 5, or 6, but that wasn't the case. But he comes to the media and says no, we played great. We created chances, which he did do.
Yeah, but if he doesn't say that, we all jump, like we, as in the media, we all jump on it. We'd be having massive discussions about it now. It'd be followed up in the press.
Exactly.
We'd all jump on it. So he's got to play the straight back.
100%, and that's why he's a master at it, and that's why he's been in manager so long, because he says one thing to the players and one thing to us, and he means it. He's passionate, and you can see him on the sideline, but ultimately, he doesn't want to give a line to us, and we've got to sort of analyse around it, haven't we?
He has to squash it. He has to. It's his job, and he does it so well. And I think when they were supposedly out of the title race a couple of months ago, he was still the same. And that's what I love about the way he's acting in this situation. He's the same, and he's emotional on the touchline. And we've just seen those pictures there. He was the same against Arsenal. He'll be the same on Saturday against Southampton in the FA Cup. It's just who he is.
But you've got that experience of being a coach. What are you like? Do you say one thing to you, or are you emotional? Because these are all good things, and we talked about Liam Rossini beforehand, and I was a little bit critical of how he was in the media. But sometimes, if you look at that interview with Pep, that is a perfect way to just shut everything down. We played well, we move on, go to Southampton, semi-final, let's see what we can do there. How do you approach it?
I think you nailed it before, because you said you say one thing to the media, you say one thing to the players. And that's the best way to be, because what goes on in your house stays in your house, and the way you operate, the way that, some coaches you hear, you read things, you operate on the basis that nothing gets out, nothing gets in. And that way you don't let anything from the outside affect you. And some people would say things have affected Arsenal. And you spoke about the power of social media in a negative way at the start of the game around Liam Rossini. And it is a very toxic place to be. You do see things get taken way out of hand. Sure. And I think that's part of the manager's job these days, is to completely crush things that get circulated online, because it's all rubbish. But they have to put on, like you said, a straight bat. They have to be really professional, really clear, and really precise with what they say. Because ultimately they're the face of the club when they have to speak post game 2-3 times a week.
Let's show you the
5. It wasn't meant to be. They had the chances, didn't take the chances. Burnley was probably a little bit better than they thought. I thought they defended quite well in certain areas, and then on that transition they was very good as well. But Man City will be kicking themselves. Obviously they're going to say to us that the wins are most important, but the goal difference, especially when it's going to potentially could go to that, they'll be kicking themselves.
Yeah, but the first thing you have to do is win.
Yeah, absolutely. The performance off the back of the Arsenal game on Sunday, quick turnaround, the intensity of it, almost unchanged 11, 8 Nori coming in.
Do you think that? Do you actually think?
I think it was never to be one to question Guardiola's team selection. He's always absolutely spot on, but I thought that he had no other choice than to play the same 11 because of how, apart from 8 Nori coming in, because of how good they've been over the last few games. I think they've been outstanding. The connections in the team are forming very nicely, and I think the freedom within the team, the balance within the team, absolutely. This was an integral game tonight in terms of their quest to win the title, and they got the job done, the points, but like Micah said, they'll be kicking themselves. There's so many opportunities in the first half. Yeah, I thought Dubravka was excellent. I thought he was absolutely excellent. I also thought Burnley were excellent. I think, their fans gave them, rightly so, a really big applause at the end, because they could see the mentality, the resilience, and they're probably asking themselves, where's that been all season?
More reaction.
Top of the league, goals scored. Could you have done more tonight with more goals?
Yeah, we had a lot of chances, but I'm happy we win, and that's the most important thing. Anything else, don't think, just try to win.
Are we at this stage now at the business end of the season where it is just about winning? Performance comes second?
One more time, sorry, I didn't...
The result is more important than the performance, because the levels, they weren't as strong as we saw at the weekend from you guys against Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's all about winning, no matter how. We try to play our football and just try to win. That's what you have to have in your mindset, and now focus on Saturday.
And it also shows, I think, a team against Burnley when probably many were expecting more goals to be scored here tonight, how difficult a title challenge it is for you.
Don't think about other goals, think about winning, as I said now 3 times.
What about going into the weekend then? Huge weekend as well with an FA Cup semi-final. It could be a really strong month for you, April, couldn't it?
It can. It's been good so far. So keep going. Try to win now on Saturday, and then Everton.
And you keep that mood going as well in the dressing room, because I imagine it will be a bouncy dressing room despite the 1-0 scoreline here.
1-0 is amazing. I'm super happy. I don't know why you keep on asking me that. I'm super happy. We win. We get 3 points. And as they sing, we are top of the league. So be happy.
They did not stop singing tonight. And tonight, player of the match again, Erling. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Out of them.
Yeah, maybe. I think maybe just psychologically as well. You're going into that game, they know they must win to set up this game essentially today. Man City had it's so strange that Man City have won the game 1-0 and we're disappointed it's only 1-0. But obviously you've got to take the whole context into consideration. Burnley, where they're at, it could go down to goal difference at the end of the season and the chances that Man City created, especially in that first half. So, yeah, it was just a strange game all round, but Quincy thinking Man City are going to score more goals than
I suppose you can't, whether you're Arsenal or Manchester City, you can't go into every game now thinking about goal difference, can you? I mean, and that was Erling Haaland's point, I suppose, with Juliet was you've got to do the bottom line of winning. Who knows where one of them may stumble between now and the end of the season? So you can't become fixated on goal difference, can you?
No, you can't. And I don't think City came across that way today, either in the way they played. I think Burnley did what we expected Burnley to do, which was to sit back deep, lie low, defend well, compact, organised, all of the things which Manchester City are great at playing against, but it's just a densely populated area inside the box that you have to find that killer pass through the eye of a needle in order to create that opening. And those were sort of few and far between. Man City did have chances, especially in the first half, where they maybe could have, put those goals on the board earlier. But I think the process, the way that Arsenal play as well, is very process-driven. They're very strong on set pieces, as we know. Very strong in the final third in terms of the players they've got. Yeah, OK, of late, probably struggling to find those connections. But it's not going to change now. It might come down to goal difference. Both managers will set the team up exactly the same, tweaks here and there for certain types of games, different opposition. But fundamentally, both teams have got this far doing what they do so well. So we're all strapped in, ready for what this running will look like.
In terms of what you just said there, the goal difference, you can't go into the game thinking about goal. You can't even go into the game thinking about the fixtures anymore because we all expected this to be 4 or 5. Anyone watching this in Burnley, the position that they're in, and that wasn't to be. And everyone could go through it and say, oh, Arsenal's fixtures are a little bit easier and Man City's. But no one's taking into consideration the pressure, the psychological battle that goes within.
So are you telling me when you were in the title race that you were in?
Yeah. I couldn't sleep at night.
Okay.
Going into the last 6 games of the season,
why couldn't you?
It's a different psychological. So you've got winners. So and I mentioned this before. When you've got someone like Sergio Aguero or a David Silva or a Vincent Kompany, they're destined for great things because of the players. And that's not just because of what they did at City beforehand. Their careers demanded that. For someone who come through the academy, it was a little bit different. So I'm always thinking, I don't want to be the guy to let them down. Yes, I know I had ability and I deserved to be there, but my mindset was a little bit different. So coming into these, why I always said, if Man City in the Arsenal game can stay within 3 points and then they can come into this game that they have tonight and make it equal, I believe Man City will win because of the psychological battle, because they have leaders and they have experience going into it. And I had to draw off the sort of top players within my squad who have won things before, that I could rely on them. And when I look at Arsenal, they've got great players, great talents, but I'm looking at who can they turn to in terms when you need to get through that. And I looked at Arsenal all week and I'm thinking, who's going to turn up for them? And they had the chances and big chances, and that's where you need your big players to turn up. And that's what Man City seem to do more often than not.
But if I follow your train of thought then, and not wanting to let down the leaders or the experienced players, this squad, I suppose, is slightly different. But it has got a lot of newish players in there who haven't won a title yet. So will they, and the Arsenal team obviously have got a different kind of pressure. If you were in this City team now with some title winners, but you weren't a title winner, would you have that same feeling of not wanting to let people down?
Yeah, I would have that same feeling, definitely. But opening it out, look at the manager. Arteta's won FA Cup, Pep's won multiple leagues, Champions Leagues, whatever. So you've got that experience from the manager as well. You can have that, you can draw on that experience. So that's why it's favourites. It's not whether Arsenal are a fantastic team. And we've talked about Arsenal so much. And you know when you did the graphic before the game and how many games they've been top.
The days that they've been top.
Yeah, because they're a fantastic team. But it takes more than just being a fantastic team to win the league.
The psychology and it's changed because up till now, Manchester City have been chasing Arsenal.
Correct.
But now they're level. That will be interesting to see how Manchester City are now going to adapt or keep things exactly the same, because Arsenal might actually want to switch into a position where they're chasing. Because it might twist the mentality for them, and it might be exactly what they need in terms of finding that extra piece of motivation, which, don't get me wrong, you don't need to be motivated to be in this situation. It should be an innate thing as an athlete, as a footballer, in this situation, title races. But it's amazing how the ebbs and flows of the way the season's panned out, and now we're at a point where they're now level. Am I right in saying they've got exactly the same form as well? The amount of games won, the amount of games drawn, the amount of games lost. It couldn't be more identical. So where we're at now, the psychology has now shifted. Man City had to jump over a huge barrier at the weekend to beat Arsenal. Huge. And now they've had to jump over a barrier today, beat Burnley, get the job done. But now it's shifted. The table's the same.
Let's hear from the Manchester City.
It's a clear message from
It is, but it still worries me with the goal difference, because if Arsenal go and maybe they've got to play Burnley, for example, still, and Burnley now relegated and score 5 or 6 goals, and goals scored will matter, so I'm surprised Erling had to nibble back a couple of times at the question, because I think it's a valid question. I said before the break, obviously, that goals tonight were important, and he is probably pumped up, there's no doubt about that, Steve. The pressure's on, they're in a really, they're in the kettle for such a big prize, of course there is. So there is that pressure, and I think he's probably getting to the point we've won the game, 3 points, we move on to the next game. But at the same time, when it's that tight, when we showed the table before, when it's so close, I think goals will make a big difference, and it could come to goals scored at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I said to you, maybe it was fatigue tonight, and I'm not saying that's an excuse for sometimes repeated answers, but I feel like they just got the job done and probably just want to go home and rest. And of course, we obviously want more answers and we want more goals and we want everything. And I think sometimes footballers, you just want to get the job done, and hook up by crook, you just move on. And maybe that's what he was kind of alluding to there. But it's great for us because there's still a really tight title race, and that's what we want.
But I wonder if there's any message at half-time from Pep Guardiola to say, goals is really important. We have to get second, third and fourth goal. This is an opportunity tonight. I'm not saying it's wasted because they've got the 3 points, but it's an opportunity to get the goals and to sort of pull away from Arsenal because it's so tight at the very top.
And when Haaland did score 5 minutes in, a lot of people thought, well, that's the floodgates that are going to work. As you say, they just conceded 4 to Forest.
Well, we thought the same. It was brave from Burnley, or maybe some people say naive from Burnley, because they pressed them high up the pitch, and we know this Man City team can play through the thirds, play through the lines, and of course, if you're a centre-half, you're in a foot race against one of the quickest players and quickest strikers in the league, and you're going to come up second, there's no doubt about that. We look here, the high press, Estevez worried about Cherki, and Ekdal's on Haaland, but Ekdal never really gets close to Haaland at any point to actually block him off, Steve, or get close enough to check his run. See there, he's still getting him 5 or 6 yards. Now he's got the run on him, and there's no catching Erling Haaland in this position, there's no doubt about that. And what I said at half-time, I think it's a brilliant finish, actually, because Dubravka's coming out closing the angle, he's getting chased down. If he hits that hard, I think it hits Dubravka. He just has clever, just has that little sort of lob wage, or call it what you want, just dinks it past the goalkeeper, and we've seen it do numerous occasions in the past. It's a brilliant finish from Erling Haaland. But again, after 5 minutes, we're thinking that's the first of many tonight, to open the floodgates, but it wasn't to be.
It wasn't. One was enough. Let's get some Manchester City reaction. Matheus Nunes is waiting to speak to us live at Turf Moor. Matheus, good to see you. How good does that feel? Was there a little bit of relief at half-time? Full-time, sorry, with the 1-0?
I mean, it was difficult in the second half. I think especially we had a lot of chances we could have scored, and the result could have been different. We would be having a different conversation at the moment, but we're just delighted that we won. That's what we wanted here, the 3 points, and that's what we did.
At this stage of the season, and after all the effort on Sunday, is it all about just getting the job done?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if we win 5-0 or 1-0, we just want the 3 points.
Yeah, Matheus, after the weekend, maybe there was time tonight you mentioned about the chances and the opportunities that you probably didn't take. Is that down to how taxing and energising it was at the weekend that you're coming into today's game maybe a little bit fatigued and the first touch and the final touch isn't quite there?
I mean, we are used to playing every 3 days the whole season. I don't think it's because of that. I just think we were not clinical today. Like you said, final pass, final shot. But still, we had a lot of chances. The goalkeeper made a few saves. So, I mean, we just have to get better next game and try to score most we can.
The message at half-time, Matthias, was from Pep, was it keep a clean sheet? You done your job as a defender, kept a clean sheet? Or was the message to go out and maybe get more goals? Or was Pep happy with the 3 points? Just that's the most important thing.
No, I mean, we went inside and basically he gave us the tactics to find the spaces to create more opportunities. We don't play to keep the results, we play to score as many goals as we can. So he basically just gave us the details where we could find the spaces, where the spaces were. And we tried. Like I said, in the second half it was pretty clear that we found the spaces, but we didn't finish the chances. So yeah.
And Matthias, what's it like now to be involved in this title running? You've gone top on goals scored. You've got 5 games left each to play. It couldn't be tighter and more exciting.
I mean, yeah. We're just very happy to be in this position to fight for the title, and hopefully in the end we were going to be happy.
And finally, you've got a title in the bag. That day you were on the bench, I think. It went right down to the final day against West Ham. Can you see this one going right to the wire as well?
Let's see. We still have to win the semi-final, and then we see.
Well played tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, the message is perfectly clear.
Yeah.
What was interesting, they said, we're just delighted to be in it. Because nobody was talking about this with City weeks and weeks ago.
And again, it's mad because he's a professional footballer and all he's focused now is the semi-final of the FA Cup. You know, that game's parked to one side, 3 points. We parked the Premier League to one side. You know, Pep's message after was probably right. We've got a big semi-final at the weekend. They prepare for this. Forget about the Premier League, albeit it's near impossible to forget about because the race is so tight at the top. But again, Matthias, he doesn't look that happy there in the interview, I think, but I think he's happy. 3 points, he's kept a clean sheet as a defender, and they roll on the next game.
Yeah.
There's a part of me, I feel like they've just had a big tell-off. You know, because they're all saying we're delighted, and they're all like, you know, maybe Pep's been frustrated with them. Like I said, there was a lot of opportunities Burnley had and didn't take those chances. And if it wasn't Burnley with the greatest, not trying to be overly disrespectful, but if it was another team maybe, they might have found themselves out of the title race again. So I don't know, as much as they're delighted, they are because they've got the job done. But I wouldn't be surprised if they've had a bit of a telling off from Pep there tonight.
Because on another night, they could have put it to bed, couldn't they, in that second half with the opportunity.